Hey everyone, welcome to another day of Simple Fitness with Manny Fit. Just before we get started, again, wanting to support local businesses for any chiro or RMT needs, go hit up Loose Strength, hit up their Instagram at Loose Strength for any of those needs. Again, quality work that these guys put out here. So again, give them a shout, give them a follow at Loose Strength, support your local business, all right? So here we go, Simple Fitness today will comprise of our warm-up, our butts and guts, and our conditioning, okay? So simply in our warm-up, we're gonna be doing 2 rounds of like skipping or hopping on the spot with 10 per side hip circles and 3 vinyasas. Once that's done, we're gonna go into our butts and guts. We're gonna do 3 sets of 10 per leg quadruped hip extension while we hold that last rep for 10 seconds. Then we're gonna do 5 quadruped fire hydrants, holding that last rep again for 10 seconds. And finally, 45 to 60 seconds per side of side planks, all right? Again, working on those butts, working on those guts. We'll do that for 3 sets. And then finally, today's conditioning is gonna be as many rounds as possible in 12 minutes. You're gonna be doing 3 inchworms with a push-up, 6 bent over rows, and 9 deadlifts, okay? And you'll just continue those movements for 12 minutes, all right? So simply, let's start off with our movements in our warm-up. Gonna be 2 rounds again, 30 seconds skip. So if you have a skipping rope, you can be skipping on the spot. If not, you can just hop on the spot there for 30 seconds. Once that's done, take a nice wide stance with your hands on your hips. 10 big hip circles one direction, while you then go 10 big hip circles the other directions, okay? Our vinyasas here is a pretty dynamic movement, so just follow along looking like this. We're gonna start flat chest on the floor, peeling just our chest and our hips up, going into a down dog. And then we're gonna either flow into it for number 2, back to down to a down dog, or you could drop your knees, drop your hips, keep your chest up, and in reverse, go onto your knees, back to a down dog for number 3, okay? So again, different alternatives for those vinyasas. 3 vinyasas there, 2 rounds of that. Skips, hip circles, vinyasas, okay? Next thing we're gonna work on, butts and guts, 3 sets, 10 per leg, quadruped hip extensions. Again, looking something like this. I'm gonna be on all 4s, hands underneath my shoulders, knees underneath my hips. I'm gonna try to keep this 90-degree angle. Let me just demonstrate 2 reps here. 1 and 2, okay? As I try to get my foot to the ceiling, all right? I'm trying to keep this 90-degree angle in my knees here and trying to keep my hips squared to the floor and not opening up, okay? So again, looking down, lifting, coming back down. I'm gonna go for 10. On my 10th one, I'll hold up for 10 seconds and then release, all right? That's gonna be 10 per leg. Second movement, quadruped fire hydrants. Same starting position on all 4s, all right? But rather than kicking back, I'm just gonna lift my leg to the side. 1, 2, and on number 5, I'll hold out for 10 seconds and return. So same thing, trying to keep that knee at 90 degrees, opening up to the side, getting on that outer part of our glute here, that nice meaty juicy part, okay? That'll be 5 per side, holding 10 seconds on the last rep. And then finally, we got our side planks. We're gonna be resting on our forearms. There are gonna be 2 options to hold this, okay? You are gonna either place 1 foot on the floor, lift the hips, the thighs and the knees off the floor, holding for 45 to 60 seconds. Option number 2, all right? If I need to modify this a little bit, I'll keep my knees on the floor here, slightly bent, and just lifting the hips, okay? So the only difference here from option 1 to option number 2, option 1 has my knees and hips off the floor. Option number 2 only has my hips off the floor while my knees stay grounded. 45 to 60 seconds per side, okay? 3 sets there, go through your butts and guts, all right? Finally, going into our conditioning, as many rounds as possible for 12 minutes, 3 inchworms with a push-up. So that's gonna look something like this, take a look. Feet are gonna be underneath my hips. I'm gonna crawl my hands down into a plank position, give myself a push-up, and walk it back in, okay? If I have a hard time with that push-up, I'm simply just gonna walk my hands to a plank, drop my knees first, perform that push-up back off the ground, and walk it back in, okay? 3 reps there. Then I'm gonna do 6 bent over rows. I'm gonna be creative here. I could use a backpack, but if I do have some equipment, I could either use a kettlebell or a medicine ball. Today I'll be using the medicine ball as my demonstration. All right, so I'm gonna simply just pick up the ball, hunch over with both hands extended in front of me, and I'm just gonna row to my chest. 1, 2, 3, making sure we keep that back nice and stiff, loading up the glutes and hamstrings, and we're rowing back for 6 reps, okay? And then finally, 9 deadlifts. You could most likely just use that same object here, going about shoulder width apart. 9 deadlifts, take a look. 1, 2, okay? Again, when we deadlift, our arms are just there as support in suspension, keeping them nice and stiff. The angles and the movements will come from the hips and slightly from the knees. So take a look one more time. Stiff arms, bend at the hips, slight bend at the knees. Hold. 1, 2, as I stand, squeeze my glutes. 3 for 9 repetitions. So again, as many rounds as possible for 12 minutes, 3 inchworms with a push-up, 6 bent over rows, and 9 deadlifts. If you can, you want to try to maintain an every minute on the minute type of pace here to really get that heart rate going. If that's a bit of a struggle today, that's no problem. Try to aim for somewhere around 1 to 2 minutes a round, which will probably leave you about 6 rounds in the 12 minutes, all right? So again, let's aim for 6 or more rounds, and that's gonna be a good burner, all right? So again, if you haven't followed us on Instagram for IGTV, please do so. Subscribe on YouTube for these daily simple fitness videos. And again, supporting our local business. For any chiro or RMT use, hit up at Loose Strength on Instagram for some good content. All right, take care. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you again tomorrow.